feels like a never-ending project. You might be thinking, didn't you just paint like 400 cards? And yeah, you'd be correct. But apparently, actually it wasn't 400, it was 175. I'm out of tree cards. So here we are once again, painting trees, which is everyone's favorite hobby and does not make me want to scream at all. So task number 1 is we're gonna clean the palette. More trees. I'm sold out of tree cards. I've got about 60 Christmas ball cards left. I'm out of trees. So, which is funny, I had 175 cards and I thought that would get me through Christmas. It did not. So we're gonna start with cleaning the palette and sort of working this clean. And then we'll pull in new colors. You'll notice these are all tall. This top row is gonna be horizontal. These ones are all gonna be vertical. Yes, it is a nice problem. That being said, I am feeling a wee bit overwhelmed. I'm used to not having to do this many cards, and it's a little bit overwhelming. I'm struggling with it just a little bit. So we're gonna press shuffle on the playlist and get into painting. Actually, we're gonna wet the page first. But there've been some, it's been a while since I've painted. I don't think I've painted since the 1st of November, other than Tiny Trees, which I just did. November's. I just finished them because I had to buy a new detail brush. You can see why over on Instagram. I knew that I was having issues with my detail brush and I couldn't figure out why it was being so difficult, and it wasn't until I started to... Well, so I'm cleaning my palette. By that I mean I don't want to waste all this paint. And so we're gonna work our way through what's on the palette. And like make some weird mixes along the way. But yeah, not cleaning my palette over my paint paper, probably smart. But when do I make smart decisions on this channel? Yeah, we're not really cleaning the palette. We're just... Oh yeah, I'm not making that bad of decisions today. Though if you've been around here for a while, you'll know that I have done that before. In this case though, we're just making some weird mixes on this palette because I'm too lazy. Actually, I'm not too lazy. I am running out of clean palettes. The studio right now is just piles of dirty palettes. And I sat on the floor today and went, I really want to, I desperately want to tidy the studio. It's such a mess and like it's making my brain irritated. It's so much of a mess. But I knew that I had more Christmas cards to do and I knew that it was just going to get all messy again. And I went, well, apparently we're not tidying the studio. We are just going to embrace living in chaos until I'm done Christmas cards. Yeah, And that's a weird, as somebody who mostly paints on the internet, and most of my stuff lives on the internet, again, which is weird to say, like it's weird. Up until now, everything that I've done has been wholesale. I don't sell in person. I don't meet my customers who are buying my pieces face to face. And having people come up to me at the event and go, oh, these are cards that we buy at X. And I go, yeah. And like people enjoyed getting to meet the people who, the person that paints the Christmas cards that they'd already been buying. And that was fun. I need something. I'm gonna have to go over this section with a bit more water. That being said, the ball cards didn't sell incredibly well, other than, actually they did. Like they sold, I just had more of them than trees. Because they were what I was doing when I got tired of painting trees. And I sold out of the ghost ones. And I'm going to have to do more ghosts. And like more ghosts soon-ish. Which also means that there will not be an Instagram sale this year, which I know some people are going to be sad about, but honestly, I don't have the stock to do an Instagram sale this year, which is not a bad problem to have, but there won't be an Instagram sale this year. So I'm sorry if you were looking forward to the Instagram sale this year. I just don't have the cards to do it, and I sort of want to be done Christmas cards by the beginning of December. Like I want to be able to do other projects this holiday season. And to do that, I need to give myself a deadline for cards, and that deadline had been the end of October. But seeing as I am mostly out of stock already, actually, I do love doing color mixing like this. I hate color mixing. If you've been here for a while, you know this. There is something really fun about color mixing like this, where what I'm doing is really just like cleaning my way through the palette. I like the name Yummy Neutrals. I call them chaotic. They're sort of like, I don't know colors, but I love them. It's like, let's just mix everything on my palette. And then I get really annoyed when I make a color that I like and can't go back and recreate it, which is hilariously funny because the two tree cards that went first were, there were two cards that were very pale grays that I did that were like this, that were just like created from really nothing. It was just like playing around. And they were the first trees that went. And I had somebody ask, if I could make more of them. And the answer was no, because I had no idea what went into making them. I did also, I bought a new detail brush for tiny trees. I actually bought two. For once I found two that had very nice tips, but I also got two new 1/4-inch flat brushes. And so I think once we're done Christmas cards this year, if this brush holds out for all of the Christmas cards, it's going to be retired to a shimmer brush. Because it's put in its time. Oh, I love trees like this. There's just something fun about them. Let's add some teal. Oh, where's a detail? There's a detail. there's a... Is that what I want? That might be what I want. Ah. Did wonder why you were so hard. You less green now? You're less green now. All right. And that's what we call good enough, because it is going to get sparkles over top, and we can always cut that tree at the end off, which is my favorite thing to do with an ugly tree. So I flick water all over this page. Because, you know, nothing says I can actually do this like flinging water everywhere on this page. This is too high. This one will just be slightly hilly. As always, a super chat means that you get to pick the tree color. We'll accept that. All right. Yes, we're embracing the snowdrifts. And apparently we're also embracing tiny trees. I like it, but it's lopsided. Nope. Yep. The funny thing is, I could be doing this with my normal Tiny Trees brush. Why aren't I doing this with my normal Tiny Trees brush? Where's my very beat up normal Tiny Trees brush? Is that it? Yep. All right. Come here, lovely friend. Let's add some purple or hot pink. It's a very nice detail brush. We're just using the one that's not nice. Which does serve a purpose, and that purpose is that I don't need, these aren't as tiny as the tiny trees that are part of the monthly Tiny Trees. Surprisingly, these are actually significantly larger than those trees. And so I don't need a brush that's that tiny. What I do need, though, is these colors to at least pretend they're going to blend. Because if they don't, this is going to get increasingly hard. Ah! I love Tiny Trees, honestly. There's a reason this series is going to be my longest running series on any platform. They're very snowdrifty today. They're just, living their best lives as trees. Including, being on the side of a cliff, but apparently growing straight, even though I know it should be angled. But that seems like too much. So instead, let's just add water to that one. Actually, that's gonna have to sit. Well, I can tell you that we've officially looped back to listening to musicals on shuffle while painting trees. We've made it full circle. We've done musicals while painting trees. I have watched all of Treehouse of Horror. I think there's 32 episodes. Watched them all. And now we're back to musicals on shuffle. Really, I need to buy something new on iTunes to spice up this musical podcast playlist. But I'm thinking about the Tick Tick Boom soundtrack, which I didn't love originally, but there's something about it that just like the past couple days, I've been listening to it so much on YouTube. Also, this is like a terrible angle for trees. You should be way closer, but my hand's moving around too much to have you guys closer today. Because if I had you any closer, you'd be in the way of my hand. It's about to tell watercolor pigment to behave and realize that it doesn't work that way. Going, just do what I want you to do. As I put my elbow in my palette. We'll do this page tiny and then we'll go back to big ones. Because really I just needed a little bit of a change. And even switching to tiny trees is enough of a change. It's funny, I'm saying I needed a change and it's been like 2 weeks since I painted trees. There were just so many trees. I'm also trying to be really careful to make sure that I get color all the way down, because that's a really annoying fix to have to go back and do after you've done everything. And I know that because I just had to do it on all of the big ones for Christmas cards. So we're gonna try and avoid it on these little ones. All right. It's not straight. Okay. Here, my wonky Christmas tree. It's so wonky. I'm about to reach this stage that I actually have to clean this palette. It's getting a little bit too chaotic. I guess we've still got a couple sections. Keep working through it. Let's mixy, 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 mixy. Mixy, 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 mixy. Right, we have a darkish purple. Really, I should just get a clean palette, but I don't have any left. And I don't feel, the thing is, I feel like if I wash one, I need to wash them all. And washing them all seems both daunting and sort of useless at this moment because I'm going to need so many of them over the next couple days that I'm like, let's just work on these really messy palettes that are sort of also driving me insane. You know, this works really well. They're so cute. All right, we're almost done row 2 of sheet. This is sheet 7 of trees this year. Which I have to say is sort of a crazy line to say as somebody who I think I want to say I did 40 Christmas cards last year. 40 or 50 is what I sold last year, and this year I am so far over that already with wholesale orders I still have yet to fulfill. Hence why I'm, back to doing Christmas cards. But it will be good. I will get them done. So we'll do 2 more after. I'll probably fit 2 more trees on this, and then I'll do 2 more rows of tiny trees, and then we'll go back to big trees. Partially because they go a little bit faster. All right. One tree left in this row. All right. Back to everyone's favorite blue. Which is now a purplish color. Yeah, it's a purplish color. Which is the fun of palette cleaning, is that colors evolve. What started as a green is now purplish. All right. Another row. All right. So many Christmas cards. 10. Okay, so each is 4, 8. So this becomes 12. Plus the top. Oh! Does this make the most cards? It does. Wow. Again. Trees are so much work for not actually that many card fronts. I get, on a normal panel, I get 12. On these ones, I get 14. Because I'll get 3 out of the top. But they are so pretty. The prettiness makes up for the fact that they are incredibly time consuming. Thank you. This is the first panel of many tonight for trees, hopefully. I think once I'm done this, I'll do one of the horizontal ones. Mostly because they're fun. And I'm not doing, the horizontal ones aren't painted with a 000, which does make things slightly easier. But it's too hard to make trees this small and this detailed without using a tiny brush. Oh, this is no longer wet, is it? Just put my arm on a pipette of water and shot water got across my desk. Which really sums up today. All right. Oh, I'm fishing tired of tiny trees. I remember why I only did one panel of these. They are truly an experience, they're a practice in not losing your mind. Because somehow doing 3 in one color is easier than this. Like I can do monthly tiny trees pretty much without an issue, but this is when tiny trees get hard. Because they just don't want to behave. For whatever reason, the chat keeps disconnecting, which I've never had as an issue before. We seem to just be getting variations of the same like purple as our end color. Got 3 that are all sort of similar, which is interesting because all of them started out as, all of these sections started out, I believe it's 5 color sections. And so it's interesting that all of them are sort of ending up purplish, but also I guess not, because all of them had a red, a pink, or a red or pink, a purple, a blue, a green, and a turquoise. And most of their like red pinks I have are quite strong, especially when it comes to granulating colors. And so they do tend to overpower mixes. And same with phthalo blue, which is used a lot as a granulating blue, or a blue in granulating mixes. It doesn't granulate itself, but it's a very pretty teal, and it's a fairly cheap pigment, and so lots of granulating mixes include it as one of its components. And you definitely see those colors come through a bit. I will also say they're all very muted and moody. I have a type, which comes as no surprise. If you've been around here for a second, you know that I have a type when it comes to colors. And it just so happens my type is moody. And in this case, it's moody grays. But we are going to end up with grays, I think, for another set of the gray trees, which should be fun. So we'll see if we can get through the last of this without mixing everything. Just theoretically, I want my gray trees to be big trees, I think. But we'll see where I get. All right, last row. We've definitely made a dent in the palette, which is funny. This is just like the pulled from color palette. Here's the official color palette for granulating Christmas cards this year, and we're about to start pulling from this, so I'm actually going to wet everything that's sort of dried out in the past few hours. It was funny, I had to pull stuff from this for trees, and then I had to figure out where it actually belonged in the lineup of these colors. Because I've sort of been very picky about where stuff goes in this lineup of colors, even though it isn't my actual palette setup. Which tells me that maybe I want to reorganize the palette. Maybe it's time to pull all the super granulating colors into their own fun palette. Because honestly, they are so much fun. And right now they're just mixed in with everything. Which isn't bad, it's just less convenient sometimes. Like when pulling colors for this, but then it also means like I have to decide sort of what the threshold for super granulating color is. So we'll see what happens there. Can I make it through this entire thing without adding new colors? We'll see. I'm becoming increasingly limited in the colors that I can pull from. Some of the piles are just getting a bit too small. Oh, all right. All right. We're so close to being done this page of trees. And then the next time I say, you know what sounds really fun? Painting an entire page of trees with a 000 brush. Somebody's going to tell me I'm an idiot. Because it's not fun. It's exhausting. And I am so over it. But we have about 4 inches left. Maybe 5. We're so close to being done. And then it's going to be some random gray trees on the next page because they're really fun and people seem to like them and I really like them. And, you know, sometimes you just have some silly fun because they're what you like and they're what some people enjoy buying. And they make me happy. And after all these little trees, I sort of just want something silly. And a page of gray trees or a couple rows of gray trees is definitely that. Oh, some of these are far more muted than others. almost done this page of trees. I think we've got space for like 1.5 more trees. Can we pretend that we are water and we blend? That we aren't going to set like cement for no reason? Because there's no reason for us to act like that. All right. There's a page of trees done. And a palette that looks very chaotic. And so while that dries a touch, we're gonna make this look even more chaotic, because we're gonna turn this into a grays palette. I've lost my cloth, so we're using a piece of Kleenex, and you can really see the trees palette from Tiny Trees. I like that I'm using a Tintoretta brush for this. All right, so where's the best and most used tool in my studio is a Galen leather combination tool. Unfortunately, I don't see this one on their website, which is really sad. I love this one. I picked this up at the Atlas Sidewalk sale. And one of the Galen leather owners convinced me that it was going to be one of my favorite things. And he was correct. It's all I use for taking paper off blocks. It's the only ruler I use anymore. I use it for everything. It's absolutely fantastic. All right. There we go. There's a page of trees. Let's tape off this page for 2.5-inch trees. Which has us 2.5, 5. 2.5, 5. 2.5. Two and a half, 5. 2.5, 5. 2.5. Oh, all right. What's my top? There's the bottom. One. 2. 3. 3. I am shortly going to need a new roll of green tape. 4. 'All right. I adore getting to do this type of one where they're all grays. So I guess we're doing gray trees until I run out of grays. We'll see how long that takes. Oh, I'm out of frame, aren't I? Ugh. All right. Oh, I'm now out of practice. Which is funny, I only did 3 rows of little trees. I started with a row of these. Yeah. And my hand is wet. That one looks ugly. Part of the issue is that the paint for this is so wet compared to the paint that I normally use for trees. And that's just because it's had a lot of water added to it. But because it's such a thin layer of paint, if it dries down, it just cracks on the palette. So really the only way to work with it is slightly too wet for trees. Did anyone else think we'd actually be back here painting more trees? Because I really didn't. I thought I was done with cards for the year. I'm glad that I had like 2 weeks off though. Mentally, I needed it. I was already burnt out on Christmas. It's a bit early in the year to be burnt out on Christmas. Especially when I hadn't actually opened the door to any Christmas commissions yet, which I'm not actually sure I'm going to do this year. Normally I do at least a couple. But I'm unsure that I want to this year. What's this? What is this one, isn't it? That seems right. Also, this is why like there haven't been paint your styles or anything, because I am painting a bunch. I'm just painting other stuff. And by the time it gets to paint your style time, I'm sort of done with painting. Hello. So I think I'll probably get back to paint your styles in the new year. For now though, I'm doing cards and who knows, I might accept a Christmas commission or two this year. We'll see. Depends how I feel when we get to Christmas. I do love these gray ones. They just really pop. So I've done, I'll pull up the page I just did. This is the page I just did of trees, which is how we ended up with the palette of grays. I was cleaning my palette. So these are actually all colors that were already on my palette. These aren't colors that I've pulled out of pans tonight, because for whatever reason, this seems to be more entertaining for my brain than pulling new colors. I think we're here. And luckily, the sort of gray undertoned ones that I'm doing right now really pop when you throw shimmer over top. I don't. These are all watercolors. So these are all watercolor paints. And there are some specialty watercolor, like holographic ones that do stuff like that. But for my base of all the trees, I do matte, so just like flat color, so that when I put shimmer over top, it really pops. All right, where's a detail brush? Any? Nope. All right. Row 2. All right, let's pick a color. Let's go with this purpley one. So originally I only had 2 of these gray ones, and they were the first trees to sell out because I didn't think people were gonna like them, and they ended up being the first to sell. And so we're just gonna see how long I can go through this palette with grays. I don't know how long. I think I'll get this row. I don't think I'll squeeze out a 3rd row. All right. Oh. I love these trees. The gray ones are just fun. So once these are all painted, I'll probably do, I think I have to do at least 3 panels. Because 3 panels becomes 36 cards? Sure. We'll start with that. $36 sounds like a good place to start for round 2 this year. Especially because I've still got some Christmas ball ones left over. Though I'm out of the ghost Christmas balls. The ghost color shift ones, so I might do another page of those. Because I am totally sold out of those. I don't have a single one left. All right. I think we're gonna get a third row of gray trees because we still have not a small amount of color left. And the goal is that I'm done. The goal is I want to be done trees by Friday. I want to be done trees by Friday. Mostly because I want to put the studio back together. And I feel like I can't do that until I can put the palette back together, and I can't put the palette back together until I'm done Christmas cards. Because Christmas cards right now have about 90 colors pulled out of the palettes. Because I pulled from both the standard and the specialty palettes. And so it's just like I need actually more than 90 because we've also got monthly challenge colors out. Like I need everything to be back together, and I can't put things back together until I'm done. And I'm going to be out of the office all weekend and most of next week. So I'd like to finish trees this week. Really, these gray ones are just indulging myself. Because they're so pretty when you put shimmer over top of them. Like, they're just stunning. I realize you can't see the last tree, but it's cut off the edge anyways. Oh, 2 hours, 9 minutes, and we're on our... All right, not bad, actually. There's a perk to not having to pull from the palette. Things do go a little bit faster, which is sort of funny. Right. quits after this row. My hand's starting to shake a bit too much. Which honestly, the fact that I made it through all of the November trees that I still had to do and a page and a quarter of these before my hand started to shake, or a page and a third, I guess, is impressive. But we're starting to get to the point that my hand's just getting a little bit too tremory. And so I'm going to finish. I might actually call it quits at this tree. There. All right, we're going to call it quits for the night because my hand's just getting a bit too shaky. But progress. That's a full page painted, so that'll become 14, and then this has 2, 4, 5 done so far. These sheets become 12, the other sheets become 14. Final cards, fronts. So, progress. Slow progress, but progress. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah. I can't believe I almost sold out of trees and I'm having to do more, but it's a good problem to have. So, thanks for watching.